Welcome back, guys. Mike here, Money, Marriage, and Media. And today we are back with the LapeefNetwork. What are we talking about today? Tigers can't change their stripes, and neither can women that slept around. You know what else is getting around? 600 subscribers. We getting closer, guys. Let's keep pushing so we get that to reach that goal. Now, we got to at some point we got to have this conversation because we're talking about promiscuous women. Why is this important when we're talking about building a community? Because at some point there is a generation of women who are coming up, women in their 20s, right? Their late teens, early 20s. They get a lot of flack. The younger generation is so promiscuous. We've all heard this, but at some point, these women are going to be they're going to be in charge of the community. I know, scary thought, but it's got to be part of the building process. We still need nuclear families, so that means that we're going to have to figure out a way to make it work. Are these women marriage material? Now, most of you guys are going to say no because they're hoes and all this other stuff. Okay, so how do we make it work? Because, well, I ain't marrying you. Okay, I get that, but understand that 2 generations ago, right? Your great grandparents were saying the same thing about your parents. It's secular. It's a big cycle. So we got to figure this out. So let's go ahead and start the conversation. Again, 600 subscribers. That's what we're looking for. Let's go.
Things can change. Repetition. I used to know how to speak.
I feel like I'm in a session right now.
I don't know how to do that shit no more. Why? Because I stopped learning how to speak Japanese. So once you build a habit of doing something or not doing something, you can actually change. You know what I mean?
So I want to give a personal story, right?
I'm gonna give one after you.
Hold on before you guys get personal stories. Let me get Monique in there real quick.
Okay.
And my Precious and Bruises Ali. Because I just feel like, I just want to pay my co-payment.
Passing the torch.
Y'all gotta jump y'all asses in there. Come on, y'all go.
Go ahead.
I don't overtalk people. I just can't do that.
Oh, you got
class. Wait on people to speak and then I'll speak.
Right, what's wrong with class?
I'm glad she's back. I was waiting on her to come back on the camera. Is it Sarah or Sarah?
Sayera.
Yeah.
Sayera.
Okay, that's so beautiful. I totally understand what she's trying to deliver to you guys, and maybe it's not coming out to where you guys are understanding, because I get exactly where she's coming from. And that's why I was saying, when I said my dad told me like how men perceive you based on what you're doing, and that's what they're going to perceive you as. She's totally right. Like, you may do one thing with this guy that you don't do with this guy. So this guy may be somebody that you're cool with, and he may end up perceiving you as somebody as the cool homegirl that he called. But this guy may be showing you dating relationship type of stuff, and you might be doing things different with him, and he probably looking at you like, oh, I can potentially be with her. So they're both going to have 2 different perceptions of you, because they're getting 2 different things from you. They're not getting the same because they're coming at you differently. And then with Anton, and I think you're very close-minded, and I think you need to be a little bit more open-minded, because I understand you've been married, but when you first got on this panel, you said my chick. So I just assumed that was a girlfriend. I didn't even know you were married until you just said you've been married for so many years.
Sometimes that's my bitch.
But that's what I'm saying. So I perceived that you were just a single man just dating a woman. So when Mr. Lego corrected you, when he said that you got to speak to an older audience, you can't be so closed-minded as to young people, because Lapeef audience is not younger people. The people that's watching this live right now are older adults. So if you're trying to teach them something and want them to learn something, you have to get on their level right now. Everybody ain't perfect.
That I was trying to teach them.
Because you said your exact words was, you've been married since you were for over 18 years. Your wife was a virgin. Everybody's life is not that. Everybody's life is not like that. Everybody,
I know, and that's why they're inferior.
So you have to be open with different dialogues of everybody's experiences.
No,
Bro,
I
we
don't.
can't talk no virgin out here, bro.
Hold on. Stop. Let me tell you something. A king,
and I heard you clearly, because that's one thing I do. I listen.
Not fucking lower himself at all. At all. I am the man. I do not wait for anybody to give me my flowers. I am not trying to teach anybody on this particular panel. I have a
all this back and forth, and we still ain't got to the topic. Maybe this is titled wrong. Maybe it should have been how do men perceive women, because we haven't gotten there yet. So, all right, let's let it go a little bit further, because this is
completely different platform for that. So if they want that, then they have the option to be able to do that, and it's incredibly popular. And it's a lot of bag chasers that's out here that's getting that bag as a result of getting up under my covering and my tutelage. However, this is an opportunity for me to tell the truth. Sometimes the truth hurt. I'm not trying to make nobody feel better. As a matter of fact, my slogan in life is fuck your feelings. I don't give a fuck about what nobody think at all. I am a man that is moving in my purpose. I don't go left or right based off of what the sentiment of other people think. And I think that if more men was more forthcoming and strong in their convictions and moving in their purpose like I am, then you would have less hoes out here thinking that they can get away with the bullshit. More men need to be strong instead of acquiescing over into the whims and the woes of what a woman think. I don't give a fuck about what a woman think. As a matter of fact, a woman's purpose is to get up under me, not the other way around.
So you're basically saying right now, I just want to get clarification from this. You're perfect. You're like the perfect epitome of a man.
Don't go
right up under Jesus.
Okay.
Man, y'all feeding man ego. Look, all I can say is this. I can't sit here and tell a woman what she can deserve, earn, or any of that thing. Because I know that there's an overwhelming population of simps that's willing to step in there and say these hoes. So there's guys out here that's willing to support the delusion. You know, I have a cousin, you know what I'm saying? He married a woman that was for the streets and had multiple kids. And this like all the stuff we're talking about is just in the wind until one of these women on this panel say, okay, so if you fit that criteria, what type of man are you think you deserve, or you earned, or you entitled to? Whenever I hear the details behind that type of guy, that's when I'm able to like, okay, yeah, you are delusional. You get what I'm saying? But I'm not knocking. Y'all want to be promiscuous? Y'all want to fucking go out here and give it up and get tossed around in the streets? Go ahead. I know it's guys out there that's willing to do it. Shame on those guys. I'm not that type of guy. Just like Anti said, if I ever get a divorce, I probably go get me a webcam studio and hire some chicks and start making money off these bitches. Because the way they just flowing out here, I see opportunity.
Okay, so we finally get into the meat of the conversation, right? Get back on camera. I agree with Bruiser. You know, you are free. Women are free to do whatever they want to. The problem comes in was when they're not willing to live with the results. Promiscuous women, that is an issue. But I mean, we're walking a thin line here. Does that mean that you're never going to get married if you got a promiscuous past? No. Does that mean make it infinitely harder? Absolutely. So as long as you're willing to deal with it, Bruce is 100% right. There's always going to be some kind of simp or something out there. As long as you're okay with that selection for guys for marriage, then, you know, I got no issues with it. That's your life. You have to lead it. I mean, you got to be accepting of your choices, or the choices that are going to be available. How do we link that back to what I was talking about before as far as building a community? See, again, the standard of guy that you want to consider for marriage, the more promiscuous you are, the lower it goes. So, I mean, this is why where the rubber meets the road is that there are going to be guys out there for you. The question is that, you know, you have to be willing to accept them. They're probably going to work a average job. This guy working at a warehouse or something like that. You know, he's making, the average income is not going to be, it ain't even going to be slightly above average. It's probably going to be average, because that's a lot for a man to take on. That's a lot of responsibilities. It's right up there with having a kid. You got to, you can't, it's hard to overlook that, but it can be done. It is possible. Again, fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless, 6 categories. Okay. So in most cases, so you got to pick. Average man take 3 to 4, depending, there's some caveats in there, but for the most part, it's pretty true. Now, You got to figure out what type of man that you want, and I would suggest the sooner you figure that out, the better. This is why I say that I'm an advocate for we need to be getting married sooner. Right now the average age is close to 30 for marriage. No, we need to be getting married before then. I would say at least like 25. And again, when we improve the vetting process, that'll help out with that as far as the fear of choosing the wrong guy. And we establish a vetting process, and then that helps weed out the wrong choices. The same thing with what we're talking about is promiscuous women, right? Okay, well, when you have something for the men, when you have the vetting processes in place, and if that's not what you want, then you know what you're going to have to do. You need to step it up. You need to level yourself up so you don't have to deal with women like that. Pretty simple stuff, but again, you have to attack it on multiple facets in order for us to affect change in the community. It's not one thing that we're just going to do and then everything's going to fall into place. It doesn't work like that. We've got multiple systems that are broken right now and they need repair. So let's keep going.
Opportunity. That's exactly what I would do.
Lady.
Okay, so I was gonna say that I used to have anxiety issues, right? So it came pretty severe where I had to make a change like ASAP. I made the change. I figured out how to not have an anxiety attack. But what I'm doing is taming what I am. I don't walk around saying I don't have anxiety, because I do. I just know how to not have an anxiety attack. I know my triggers when I'm going to get that way. So when those triggers come up, because I can't change the triggers, right? When the triggers come up,
you can.
How do you do that?
You can change your perception of the actual trigger. Once you go back to your childhood and your memory and change how you perceived what happened to you, it's no longer a trigger.
So
no, you got to work on
serious,
it.
Right? I don't have
you right, but it's not that black and white like that. You're right.
No. I'm just letting her know so she can finish talking. I ain't want to just totally interrupt her. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with Ali. It's not black and white, because I don't have nothing traumatic like what someone may be thinking. There's nothing traumatic that happened why I have anxiety. It could be just I watched a crazy ass scary movie, right, when I was young. And then now I have these crazy ass triggers. But I mean, even though, okay, I figure out what that is, how are you going to change something that maybe affected you in that way when it's already happened? Like, that's why I was mentioning a scar. Okay, I fell off of a bike. I can't change my memory of falling off the bike. It's there. It's not going nowhere. So what I'm saying is I know how to tame. I don't have anxiety attacks. It's been about 7 years now. I don't have anxiety attacks at all, but it's still there. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. This video was all over the place. We didn't really spend much time talking about the actual topic. But we did have some high level conversations on this side of the camera though, right? Because we're talking about the whole point is we're rebuilding the community. Okay, well, promiscuous women, they just need to die alone. That's probably not going to happen. It's probably not, The reality is, as an average man, you got to deal with the average woman. It is what it is, right? But I'm all for one thing. I'm always gonna talk about is that we need to figure out how to make things work. And right now, you might have to bite the bullet on certain things just to get. You got to figure out what's most important to you in a spouse. Some things are going to be, and this is why I talk about the, those 6 categories again. The hard part for the ladies is you got to figure out the kind of guy, that you want, what his most important categories are. So if promiscuity could be a 7th category. It just really just depends. If that's important to him, then you might not qualify for that guy then. But the point is that number one, you got to be open to cooperation, both sides, right? Because at some point, both sides are going to have to bite the bullet. You're not going to get everything you want. It's just that's how you compromise. But that's how we're going to have to bite the bullet, because we need more marriages. This is the thing that's missing in our community that's present in other communities, right? In other races, they're more willing to compromise in order to build a better tomorrow. You see how this works? It's like, at what point do we say, okay, I need for my kids to have the best chance possible, and I know that's in a marriage. So I need to be trying to make it work. It ain't nothing. Nobody's gonna be perfect. We all have flaws, and we just got to be willing. It's better to know. My thing is that you need to know what you're dealing with up front. If those are your standards, those are your standards, but they need to be realistic for the average person. So that's why Kevin Samuels, why a lot of women was mad at him, because he was telling me you're delusional. You keep having this standard of income, and you're not bringing enough value to attract that guy. The same thing occurs on the average level for both men and women. It's like we got to do better as far as guys. I know you guys don't want to hear this, but at some point you're gonna have to bite the bullet if we ever want our community to get better. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. You're gonna have to compromise on some things that you're not willing to compromise on for the right woman. The right woman may have, she may be promiscuous. The right woman is going to have your back. She may have had a promiscuous past, but what I'm telling you is that you might have to overlook it to get what you want. You can't get everything right. Nothing is 100%. It's the same thing with the women. The perfect guy for you, chances are chances are he's not making $50,000 a year. We talked about that before, about what do you do if you're a high earning woman. You might have to be the breadwinner in the family, but you can still expect a guy can still lead even though you're the breadwinner. You just got to put forth, you got to start looking for qualities that may not be rewarded with income. That's why I talk so much about the dime: discipline, integrity, morals, and ethics. Men who are high in those categories, they may not be making a lot of money, but they have exceptional leadership skills though. You see how this stuff works? It connects together in order to rebuild the community. So look, guys, it was a great video. We'll probably be revisiting LapeefNetwork again. Yeah. Even though the title doesn't really line up with what they were talking about, it is what it is. We can still have high-level conversations on this side of the camera. That's the whole point. But guys, I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video, but do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.